Hey folks, Ken here. How you doing? Just thought I'd do a quick update on thoughts around the media replacement. First of all, a bit of a personal update. Had an accident on Tuesday night. I fell. Bit of a bizarre situation, but the upshot of it is I managed to break my shoulder. So it's going to slow me up in terms of what I can do over the next while. I was out walking the dogs, and the Rotty Tarzan that you've seen on the videos a few times, I mentioned my back wasn't great, and we've a golf club up from us, and I was walking up the driveway to it and back, a relatively short walk given the back, and I had the dogs on a sort of a very slack lead, which I wouldn't normally do because they were pulling on my back, and a neighbour came up behind me, and he had his two dogs, and I was chatting with him for a minute. Now my dogs know his dogs, so I wasn't expecting any reaction, but Tarzan, the Rotty, decided he wanted to run over to the neighbour's dogs, and because the lead was slack, he got up a bit of speed, took off. I got tangled in the lead, my legs, I went flying up in the air. Now this is what I've been told, because unfortunately I don't remember it. And I came down on my shoulder on the right side of my face, and I was unconscious for a few minutes. Thankfully I came around, I was fairly cognizant, was able to ring my wife and got up to the hospital, but I have a cut hand because the lead fed through my hand and cut my hand on the way through. I have a cut face and head, I needed stitches in my hand and my head, and I have a broken shoulder. So could have been worse, guys. Listen, I hit the ground fairly hard, but it is going to slow me down. So but you know, you go on. I'm out of work at the minute, and I'm waiting to see an orthopedic surgeon just to see. I'm fairly sure, to be honest, where the break is. It's the humerus, so they say the shoulder. It's a long bone from the elbow to the shoulder, and it's up near the ball socket at the shoulder, but it's I don't think it's going to need surgery from what I've read and listened to on YouTube. And to be honest, I've feck all to do or rather watch that YouTube. I'm rather enjoying Lee Hadfield's updates on a daily basis. But anyway, that's my situation, but could be worse. As I say, it'll take a few weeks for me to get back in the saddle on this. So first of all, on the last video, thanks for the comments. Phil from Telford Coy had some great advice. He was saying definitely, you know, the Helex, but he also recommended the filter pads. Now, as I mentioned in my comment, if you see down there, you can see these slits in my drum, and unfortunately, as I was saying, I think those filter pads will just pass straight through there. Now that's the standard on the DVS for the European market. I believe they do a different configuration if you want to use K1, which Ross, that Koi guy, asked for when he was buying his. I didn't realise. The Quinny Koi ones could be just K1 compatible by default. So what I could do is possibly just put in a sheet of stainless steel gauze there and make that better. I don't know if it's worth it, but reading up on those Oase Pond Pads, they're not cheap. I think 20 litres of them is about €120. So, but they do have a massive surface area, way above that of any plastic media. And Phil was just saying it really had an impact on his nitrites. So I might just go with the K1 or the Helex to start with, and then see how I go. And if that's not doing it for me, is maybe look at making a modification. I'd probably have to put the gauze on this side, because if I put it, you know, I could just put it on and then secure it with a couple of plastic ties or something like that. I don't know, but anyway, I might leave that as a possibility for the future and just get the Helex for the time being. just doing my checking my chlorine from the Big Blue. It's been up and down, and it's gone up quicker than I would have expected it to. Now that's down at 0.2 litres a minute, and I'm getting 39. Now what I did do is I flushed a bit of air through it. So I was watching a video online, and a guy, what I did was I just put in another bit of hose, so I'm looking at the mess down there, but and what I can do is connect that into my big pump there and into the in on the Big Blue, and then just feed the output from the Big Blue out into the yard and just blast a bit of air through it for a few minutes. And it did bring it down to under 0.2, but it's back up to 0.4. And unfortunately, in my current situation now, I do have my two sons here can probably help me, but changing the carbon in a Big Blue is a pain in the arse at the best of times. It's not possible for me to do anything with it. Maybe just use my good arm to refill it, but I certainly wouldn't be in any position to empty it. So that's a possible thing. I might just blast another bit of air through it and see how I get on. The temperature of the pond, 13.9 or 14, which is not bad. It is covered, not heated. I don't heat. But you know, we're getting cold nights. I think it was down to 4 degrees last night. So, but the fish are still interested once a day. So I'm giving them a mixture 50-50 of protein and wheat germ. I need to organise some more wheat germ fairly shortly. And I'm just checking my nitrite. I'm sure it'll be fine because I've more than halved. Well, I've halved the feeding in recent times. We'll see what that is now in a second. So that's the thoughts on the Helix. I was going to pull the trigger. I found a source in Germany that will ship to Ireland fairly reasonably. So I'm going to do that, buy the full 150 litres, and as soon as I've stopped feeding, I'll put it in. I think the additional surface area alone will help me. As I say, with that media, it should be better than it is given the stocking I have at the minute. And I don't quite understand why, but just hasn't worked for me, and it's the only logical explanation to the nitrate problems I'm having. So that's about it. As I say, when I get the media, I'll talk. I can probably, with one arm, manage that. It's just a matter of I'll soak it in PP for 24 hours and rinse it out, and then you know, there's an argument maybe for just putting in 100 litres, taking out 100 litres of the media that's there and putting in 100 litres, but then it all mixes up and it's a pain in the arse to sort out, and I'd rather just have it one or the other. And I think over the winter I definitely have enough in the trickle there that will keep me more than covered. We're just about to see. This takes 15 minutes, this nitrate one, by the way, so it's nearly done there now, and then it gives a different reading to our normal parts per million, but I know by looking at it as to what it is. There we go. That's my watch to remind me. 31. It's still, that's fine. 31 now would be, it'll be down sort of, it'd be 0.1, 1.12, I think, off the top of my head. It's okay, you know. It just goes to show, one, you know, I put in, that's probably about 80 grams of food a day, and you know, I've seen it lower than that, to be honest. I'd expect it to be lower, and it's not. Anyway, I don't think the chlorine, while it's high-ish to 0.4, it's not enough. You know, once it goes into the filter, it's diluted, and it is being flushed out by the pump anyway, so it's not causing a problem, but it will, over a few weeks at that level, cause a problem. I do have more carbon, so maybe next weekend I might just flush, as I say, a bit of air through it, and I'll think maybe I'll test it again during the week and think about doing something next weekend with it. But that's the update. As I say, just thoughts on the filter structure and the pond pads. As I say, DVS recommend Helex, so I'm sure the gaps will be fine for the Helex 13, but just not for the filter pads, and especially with the water pulling that direction, I'm sure I'll be finding filter pads in the pond, which I don't want to do. I definitely have to add some gauze in there, and would the gauze be 100%? Should be. Not the easiest place to put cable ties and all the rest, but I'd probably manage it in some shape or form. Anyway, thoughts and rambling, and I'm probably overthinking it, but there you go, and I'll update you over the next week or two. Cheers, take it easy, bye.